Well, first of all, Laura, what we've seen happening to the immigration figures over the last 6 years is we did see them coming down, we then saw them going back up, and most recently we saw some of those figures coming back down again. But I think it's important you talk about the net migration target. Let's look at why we have a net migration target, why we have said that it's important to reduce immigration, to bring control into the immigration figures. It's because of the impact that it has on people, the impact it has particularly on people at the lower end of the income scale, and in terms of the pressure on public services. So I think it is important that we continue, and we will continue to say that we do want to bring net migration down to sustainable levels. We believe that is the tens of thousands. And of course, once we leave the European Union, we will have the opportunity to ensure that we have control of our borders here in the UK, because we'll be able to establish our rules for people coming from the European Union into the UK.
Last year, Theresa May's last as Home Secretary, a city the size of Newcastle upon Tyne came to this country net. It has been the equivalent of a city the size of Birmingham over the past 3 years net. This is clearly unsustainable, and it is clearly unfair, particularly to inner city communities. It puts strains on the NHS, on housing, on schools, on the transport network, and on jobs. Therefore, we propose to do something about it. Therefore, I can announce today that UKIP will go into this election with a policy of balanced migration, which means zero net immigration over the next 5-year period.
So we are very clear that we want to lift the pay cap, because essentially most NHS staff have in reality had a pay cut over the past 7 years, so you can negotiate proper wages and conditions. We want to bring back the nurse bursary so that those that wish to go into nursing can do so without a great debt at the end of it. And we also want to improve health issues, so we have announced today about the way advertising is intensive on young children of extremely unhealthy foods. And as we all know, if children are fed unhealthy foods from a very young age, then unfortunately that becomes a life choice and goes on for a very long time after that. So that's important. And then,
well, Eastern Barnshire's a seat we missed out on by just 2,000 votes here. Joe Swinson, the Liberal Democrat, just behind the SNP here, and this is one of many seats in Scotland where the Liberal Democrats are the only challengers to the SNP, and the only chance you've got if you want to prevent a divisive additional independence referendum that the SNP clearly want. But also across the country, across the whole of the United Kingdom, the Liberal Democrats now growing into that space that an official opposition really ought to be, providing an alternative to the Conservatives. Let's be honest, we're heading for a Tory landslide on the 8th of June. Britain deserves a strong opposition.